Most times when I ask people how much they have saved so far, they say, my savings saved me. And I get it because the money probably went into fixing a car, paying for rent, or probably handling an emergency. But that's exactly why most people get stuck. They are saving, but the saving is not moving them forward. Today, I will show you three types of savings you need to build wealth and stop feeling like you're just surviving. Hi everyone, my name is Doing Solatoye. Welcome to my YouTube channel. On this channel, I share tips on how to make, manage, and multiply money. If you want financial freedom, do make sure to subscribe and stay till the end because I will show you how to prioritize these savings depending on your income. So, number one is the emergency savings. Yes, nobody is praying that a bad thing to happen, but life happens, ill health, loss of job, sudden repair in the house, maybe your battery, what's it called, your laptop battery got damaged, or your laptop got damaged, perhaps your phone got stolen, or a financial emergency just spring up, right? It is important that you have emergency savings, and the essence of emergency savings is to prevent you from going into debt. It is to serve as a buffer on your investment. So let's take a scenario, right? You something just suddenly happens and you need money for, and it's an emergency, right? You will liquidate your investment, and sometimes these investments, when you liquidate them prematurely, sometimes you lose part of your capital and all of your interest. And sometimes your capital is saved, but you lose all of your interest. But if you have emergency savings, you just go deep into your emergency savings to cater to whatever financial emergency occurs, and your investment is still safe. But without emergency savings or without investment, you run the risk of going around taking loans, and then interest will start accruing on the loans or the debts that you have incurred. But when you have emergency savings, it serves as a buffer on your investment. It gives peace of mind. So experts say that you should have at least 3 to 6 months of your living expense in an emergency savings. So for example, you know that your monthly spending or your average spending every month is like 100,000 naira. So it means you should have at least 600,000 naira in your emergency savings. The way you can get an accurate amount of your monthly spending is when you have a budget and you're able to track your expenses. At least with that, you know for certainty the amount that you spend every month. So 3 to 6 months of your living expense should be in your emergency savings. Where should you put your emergency savings, or where should you put your emergency funds, right? You should put it in a place that you can easily have access to it, such that when emergency occurs, you can immediately withdraw it. So it is advisable that you put it in a high yield savings account where you know that you can easily withdraw it instantly, or perhaps in a mutual fund. But some money market fund, withdrawal is not instant. It takes 24 to 48 hours to process. So by that, the money in your emergency savings is not for the purpose of building wealth, right? So you're not putting it in stocks, right? You're not putting it in cryptocurrency. You are putting it in a place that you know the capital is guaranteed and there is little interest coming on your money. So the purpose of emergency savings is not to build wealth. It is to caution the effect of when financial emergency occurs and you're not liquidating all your investment, and all your savings is not going into such situations, right? And when you have a bit of emergency savings, right? For example, in the case of the loss of a job, your mind is a bit at rest, right? You are able to settle down properly to look for a job that you deserve, not just settling for any job because, oh, you have to survive, oh, I need to put food on my table, there is no savings, I don't want to borrow. But when there is emergency savings or emergency fund in place, you are able to get a job, fit your qualification and your status, and not just get any job or settle, yeah, for any job because, oh, you need to survive and you need to put food on your table, right? So emergency fund gives you peace of mind. It gives you what's called, it serves as a buffer on your investment, and it prevents you from going into debt. It is also advisable that you have emergency fund in place before you even start the investment, such that if any investment you go into goes south, you know you have something to live on, right? Before you start building up again. So 3 to 6 months of your living expense. So even if you have 3 to 6 months of your living expense, you can take it a step further and dedicate a particular amount that you put in your emergency savings every month that income comes in. So emergency fund or emergency savings is important. On no account you do take money from emergency fund account to cater for something that is not an emergency. Rent is not an emergency in this part of the world that we live in, right? You have 12 months to plan for your rent. It's not just something that just happened out of the blues. Wedding is not an emergency. You have a long time to plan for it, Ashwebi and other lights. Vacation is not an emergency. So these are the things that are not an emergency, and you should not dip hands into your emergency fund to cater to. A second type of savings is savings for consumption. You're saving for the purpose of consumption, or you're saving towards a goal, like specific savings. So I'm saving towards the rent, that's saving for consumption. I'm saving towards vacation, I'm saving towards buying a laptop, I'm saving towards buying a fridge, I'm saving towards buying a TV, I'm saving towards buying a car, I'm saving towards buying a laptop, I'm saving towards buying a phone. So that's savings for consumption, right? I'm saving towards buying a bag, I'm saving towards buying a shoe, I'm saving towards anything that I know that at the end of the day I am going to consume it. Right. So, and you know that the purpose of this savings as well is not to make you rich. You're just, and so it's important that you don't even leave it in your bank account. As long as your capital is guaranteed, you get little interest on it. Such that, imagine if you're saving towards a rent and you put it in a high yield savings account, right? Every month, or it's a daily compounding interest. Interest accrues on your money that you're saving, right? And so, yes, I'm saving towards the rent, but I'm also making interest on the money I'm saving towards the rent. And see, one advice I give people is, if you're saving towards the rent, if your rent is 500K per year, right? Divide it by 12. So you are saving about 42,000 naira monthly. It eases the stress of you when it's time to pay rent. You just pull out money from where you've been saving rather than taking out a chunk of your salary that month or 2 months to pay for rent. That's the smart way to go about it. So we've talked about emergency savings, remember, and then we talked about saving for consumption. And the last type of savings is saving for the purpose of investment. So saving to invest, or say, oh, I want to invest in mutual fund, or I want to buy a land, right? So I don't have the bulk amount that is required to buy this land or to buy this property. So I am putting this money perhaps maybe in a mutual fund, or I am putting this money in a high yield savings account, so that when I have the bulk amount required, then I will now put it towards investment. Or I just leave the money in a mutual fund for the purpose of saving. It's a kind of savings, but at the same time, you are saving towards investment. When you have these three types of savings in place, you won't feel like you're just surviving, because anything that comes up, you just have to take money from your account and use to solve it, and it's like you're starting all over again, right? So these are the three types of savings that you need to secure your financial future and to build wealth. Number one, emergency savings. Number two, saving for consumption. And number three is saving to invest. So now, how do you start saving today? I advise that you have three separate accounts for this type of savings. And thank God, most of those fintech platforms, or a lot of these fintech platforms, you have a feature on the platform, for example, Carrywise and PiggyVest, that you call emergency savings. And they have a dedicated interest for that kind of savings, emergency savings. If you check Carrywise or PiggyVest, you will see it. For Carrywise, you see emergency savings. For PiggyVest, you see Flexi. I think that's Flexi savings. and I think 12% or about 13% per annum. So that's one account for emergency savings. Then you have maybe your usual, the normal savings account for piggyvest and all of that, or carrywise or Optimus, as the case may be. You use it for what's it called, savings for consumption, and you can use mutual fund for saving for investment, right? So you earn at least 25%. And you can also use the 50-30-20 rule to allocate the different percentage you want to allocate to these different types of savings. You read about the 50-30-20 rule. So 50 to needs, 30 to wants, and 20 to savings and investment. So out of this 20%, you now decide, okay, so which percentage out of this 20% maybe is like 5-5-10 that you want to do, right? Say 5% to emergency savings, 5% to saving for consumption, and 10% to savings to investment. If you have this kind of savings in place, you will have peace of mind. You'll be able to build wealth without stress. You won't feel like you're just surviving, right? If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and share for more money tips. Now, I want to hear from you. Which type of these savings do you think that you're currently struggling with and you need help? Put it in the comment section and I will provide the solution that you need.